Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Lamborghini set to debut its first electrified SUV, the hybrid Lamborghini Urus SE. Joining us now, I am thrilled to say we have Stephan Winkelmann. He is the Lamborghini CEO. So this is your second plug-in at, of course, Lamborghini. And I thought it was interesting because it comes at a time when we've really seen consumer demand for EVs really cool off. When it comes to hybrids, though, does the demand picture look the same, or is there more strength there?
Now, the strength is very good on our side. I can speak for Lamborghini. The plug-in hybrids are digested. People are accepting what we are telling them, and they know that we are, let's say, not only marketeers, but it's a true product. So we always say that the products which are coming next, they have two things. They will be more performing, and this is even though they have a hybrid system, and they will have less CO2 emissions. So we will continue to promise this, and the things are going very well on the Revuelto, and also now that we presented the Urus SE, it's something which is astonishing, though the feedback is very, very positive.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that, because of course deliveries don't start until early 2025, but give us an early peek at demand. What does that look like?
On the Urus or in general?
On Urus.
On Urus, very positive, because today we are sold out on the actual one. We opened up the system for the new one last week, and we already had pre-orders. They will now be translated into the system. And I can tell you that already now we are almost at the end of 2025. So we have already an order bank of 1 year after 1 week.
Have to imagine that feels pretty good. I think a lot of automakers would envy that position there. But so you have two plug-in models right now. When you think about fully electric cars, though, true EVs, is that something that Lamborghini would ever do?
But we have a clear strategy. The first thing, we have three models today. The first two we are hybridizing now, the Revuelto and the Urus. Then there will be the third one, which we will present in the second half of the year here. Also in the US will be the world premiere. And this will be then, let's say, the closing of the first step of our strategy to have all the lineup hybridized. And then we're looking forward by the end of this decade to have a fourth model, which will be then our first full electric car.
Interesting.
Yes, it's interesting, but we also see that the things change. We will see. We don't need to decide a lot on the three models we have today for the future, so we have more time to decide what to do next, if we stay hybrid or if we go full electric.
So there's two things I want to get into there, both the timeline and the fourth model. Let's talk about the fourth model first off. What could that look like? Are we talking about, another SUV, maybe a four-door sedan?
If you look into, let's say, the lineup of a super sports car company, you have the pure super sports cars like the Revuelto, and then for us, due to our tradition, we had also the first SUV in the 80s, which was the LM002. So the Urus came naturally. So what is missing in a lineup like ours, and also due to our DNA, was a coupe, a 2+2, a GT car. So we have, but in a modern interpretation, so we have more ground clearance. It's a two-door and a four-seater. So something which we're looking forward to, and I think it's going to be very successful.
Well, definitely going to stay tuned there. That sounds really interesting. Let's talk a little bit, though, about the timeline for fully electric, because even when it comes to the hybrids, I mean, you've taken a very deliberate approach. Some would call it slow relative to a lot of your competitors. And I mean, I really can't imagine what the EV landscape looks like by the end of the decade. Why move so slowly here?
But we always said we want to be the best when we arrive, but we don't have to be the first ones. When it comes to design and performance, we always want to be the best. But this type of technology, it's about acceptance. And for us, we are not selling mobility, we are selling dreams. So it's very important to continue to have people which are really dreaming about our type of cars. We continue to work where the others stop. And I think that also in terms of the full electric cars, there will be a time and place where they will be more accepted also for our type of customers. Not for the super sports cars, there we have more time, but more for the daily users, because the infrastructure, but also, let's say, the technology is going to help us in 5 to 6 years from now. And also there will be a new generation stepping in of buyers, which are more into sustainable products.
Well, I told you a little bit before the interview that it's going to be a while before I can afford a Lamborghini, but we'll see there in that new generation of buyers. And on that point, let's talk about pricing power. Obviously, you can command very, very high price tags for your cars. Where are we in the cycle when it comes to pricing power?
You know, for us it's important to always sell less than demand. So actually we have an order bank which in average is lasting 2 years on all the products. And when you buy these type of cars, you accept that you have to wait. It's good because on the other side, when we speak about residual values, they have to be very high. And if you want to buy a Lamborghini today, usually it's above is MSRP, even if it's a used car, because you don't want to wait. And this is a good moment, and we want to keep it like this. And we are in a, let's say, an environment of 30 to 40,000 cars. There are some brands, and they all move in the same direction. Some has more success, the others less, and we are in the best shape ever. So our purchasing power is good, and we had the best year ever also in terms of profit last year. We had the best turnover. We delivered for the first time more than 10,000 cars, and we had a profit of 723 million, which is an ROS of 27.2%. So we are really proud and happy about that.
So like you said, 2023, a record year for Lamborghini on a number of different metrics. And you actually said in January this year, late January, that you're sold out of cars until 2026. Is that still the case?
Yes, it's still the case. On the Revuelto, it's even more so. On the top of the line, the V12 with a plug-in hybrid, it's lasting 3 years. So we are already at the end of 26. So.
And are you noticing any trends when it comes to geographic demand, what it looks like region to region?
But we are well balanced between the major regions. So we have the US, which is our top market, followed by the German market, then comes China, then comes the UK, then comes Japan, and then we have markets like Korea, the Middle East, Italy, and then Canada. So if we look at it, we are very well balanced in the different regions of the world. And this is also, let's say, keeping us on the safe side when there are local crises.
Well, you mentioned China, and I actually wanted to go there because there is a lot of anxiety over, Chinese demand when it really comes to pretty much every industry out there. When you take a look at, Lambo in China, does the market that you're in sort of rise above some of the demand fears that we're seeing in the other industries?
No, the luxury business in general is under heavy pressure in the Chinese market. There's a fierce price battle, and we are not participating. So we are less exposed than others in the Chinese market. We have less than 10% of our sales in China, and we want to keep it this way because even if China is the biggest market in terms of automotive, it's a very small market in terms of luxury cars.
All right, Stephan, so enjoyed this conversation. Really thrilled that we could make it work. Our thanks, of course, to Stephan Winkelmann, the CEO of Lamborghini.